2 weeks ago, the Collier County Public School Administration issued an apology for posting a summer reading recommendation list that contained basically about 60 soft to hardcore porn books from the Goodreads.com site for middle schoolers. 60. They claimed the site had changed since it was vetted a month before, but I wasn't convinced it was a mistake because I have seen the required reading lists for high school, and I'm not talking about Mark Twain or To Kill a Mockingbird. Just last year, the required reading for Honors English 3 was Clockwork Orange. Did you know Clockwork Orange begins with a 15-year-old high school boy on drugs enticing two 10-year-old girls into an orgy and then beats them up? So I decided to check the media centers in our schools and see what's available there. I found a book called The Bluest Eye, which is about incest between a father and a daughter. This became the subject of a news story last week by Sophie Nielsen Colding of NBC2, and she read this portion to Mr. Trichetta of CCPS. Quote, "He must rest his weight on his elbows when they make love to avoid hurting her breasts." And Mr. Trichetta's answer to that was, "What is offensive to you may not be offensive to me." Really, Mr. Trichetta, you're not offended by a father raping his young daughter? Okay. Well, how about the book Beloved, where the black members of a chain gang are forced by the white guards to perform a sexual act on the guards, which is supposed to suffice as their breakfast. Also, acts of bestiality are mentioned 4 times in that book, and you can get that book at all our high schools and even Corkscrew Middle School. Now, I'm not going to waste time going through a huge list of inappropriate R-rated books available to minor children of this county. They're there, and there are plenty of them. But it brings to mind a parent's worst fear, that while I'm doing everything in my power to raise good kids in a loving and wholesome environment, that unbeknownst to me, there may be a guy in a black car on a street corner beckoning my child to come here. I have something to show you, enticing my child with books and pictures. And I have no idea my child is being molested. I fear that guy in the black car may be those responsible in this district for putting those books on the shelves for children, putting our child in harm's way unbeknownst to us. Did you know that when the most notorious rapist serial killer, Ted Bundy, was interviewed in prison and asked why he did what he did, he answered, "It all started with porn." A school should be a safe place for children. And we've learned this week the Collier County School District may not be trustworthy. In fact, Mr. Trichetta, peddling porn to minors is against obscenity laws in Florida. When parents take great effort to protect their kids and the district minimizes or ignores it, then we feel our kids' minds and souls are not safe in Collier County Public Schools. Now here's a thought. We rate movies and video games to protect children from age-inappropriate themes. Why not books? Now these themes may be okay to atheists, spinsters, young singles, and those with alternative lifestyles, but it's not to parents. It's not okay with us. Don't forget, these are our children. It's too bad we feel like we have to protect them from you. By the way, the Pope warns parents, stop relying on experts to educate your children. It's time that mothers and fathers return from their exile. They've exiled themselves from the education of their children. Don't delegate it to so-called experts.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I know a lot of CCPS parents, but I don't know any CCPS parents who received the parent survey. I know I didn't. I give Superintendent Patton a question mark. You're writing your own evaluation questionnaire? Really? What a coup. Not many workers can get to craft their own evaluation form. Wow. What I couldn't do with that. But I see some things are missing, like why are you not being evaluated by teachers and by principals in a double-blind way so we can get the total picture in disclosure and honesty? And why is there not more emphasis, or actually why isn't most the emphasis of your evaluation on student improvement and performance? Isn't that your whole mission? When will we see improved nationally normed test scores and college readiness? A great number of our kids need remedial classes of those entering college. Case in point, let's look at the Florida ACT scores. We're 47th out of 51 because they include DC. However, according to the ACT.org website, Florida tests 81% of their graduating students with ACT tests. Now, there are 4 states with lower scores than Florida, but they test more graduates. North Carolina, Mississippi, and Louisiana test 100%, and Hawaii tests 90%. Then there are 15 states that test more than our 81% average, and there are 12 states that test 100% of their graduates with the ACT. States that did better than us and test more students than us were Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Michigan, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, North Dakota, and Illinois and Utah testing 100%, and Arkansas and Nebraska with 93 and 86%. Now, the highest average composite score of the states that test everyone, or at least more than we do, is Nebraska with a 21.7. Now, our Florida state average composite score is 19.6, nearly a 2 whole points below Nebraska. Now, this is huge when you're talking about ACT scores, but I would say that Illinois is the state with the most comparable scores to Florida, considering its population, the number of families under the poverty level, and the number of children from non-English speaking families. And their ACT score was 20.7, a full point higher than Florida. The only thing I could say that might mitigate how poorly we do compared to Illinois is the focus on the testing and poor academic materials. Now, I do give Patton an A on prohibiting board members from adding items to the agenda. She gets an A on prohibiting outside education experts to present bona fide research to the board, and an A for denying board members' requests for student data relative to student achievement, and for covering up educational failures in this county with a plethora of photo ops that make you look like you're working hard for the kids. Oh, and also an A for so deftly circumventing SB 864 and shutting out parents from choosing superior curriculum materials for their own kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.